Are double discs in hip hop a good idea? Because no matter how good the double disc is, you always find yourself going there where it's like you said,
Mike.
I'm gonna pick the best. Because you want to see the tracks that I picked for on this side alone, and I'm not even considering A because this show is about B. I picked the songs that I would have kept from this 20
Okay.
tracks, and I ended up with 13.
Damn.
I got Hell on Earth Part Two. I got Free
Yep.
Cutter. I got
Yep.
Richie's. I got
Yep.
Julia Lang. I got Celine Dion. Uh,
Yep.
Forest Lawn. I'm sorry, Forest Lawn.
Yep.
Why I Do 'Em Like That. Uh,
Nah, I had some questions about that. The production on that record is great, but the production to me is so much better than the performance, and I don't like that.
Eddie Kingston. I'm not mad at you on that. Eddie Kingston, Ulster Tag,
Yeah.
Munch, 99 Averex, The Fly, who couldn't, what is it? The Fly that couldn't fly straight, and Big Al.
Mhm. Okay.
Those are the ones that I
Okay.
kept.
Okay. So mine is a little bit different. I would have. I cut Eddie Kingston, Munch, Big Al, and I had a question mark by why I do them like that because I put under there the production is amazing, but I'm not a fan of the hook.
Mm.
And that's one of those things where we were talking behind the scenes how you feel like sometimes West Side on the hooks, kind of like the redundancy,
Mm-hmm.
kind of sometimes like I felt like that happened on that song. And so I kind of have it somewhere in the middle. So those are the records that I would cut. So I have Hello on Earth. Oh, and I cut Richie's too.
So
So I have,
imagine though, and I know you're talking about
but
those. Imagine if we add Bash Money, Spoons, Vogue cover. You know what I mean?
no. So Mike, that's why I said I took those four songs out, and you just named three of the four songs that I would slide in. I would put if you take those four songs out and put in Vogue cover, Spoons, Bash Money, and Westheimer. There's your album of the year.
You remember when we did that show when we actually broke Wu Tang Forever into one disc?
Well, Mike,
Like,
I'm glad you're talking about this because it feels very. I think this has the potential, like in the long run, to be very Wu Tang Forever ish, where
yeah,
it's like it may later on really get deemed with more classic status than maybe now, but it's still about to be one of the best projects of the year, album of the year contender. But I think the overall feeling is going to be, well, man, if you take the best from that side and the best of that side and put that together, woo, that's like Mike, that lineup, like the songs, like because I have because here's the thing by TV Boy and Julia Lang, I put a question mark. So I took
mm,
TV Boy over Julia Lang because it's more of a full record,
okay,
and I have 11 records. I'm sorry, I have Hell on Earth, Free Cutter,
mm,
Best Dressed Demons, TV Boy, 99 Everett's, The Fly Who Couldn't Fly Straight, R.I.P. Bergdorf,
mm.
Celine Dion, Ostertag, Survivor Series 95, Forest Lawn. And if you were to add Vogue cover, Westheimer, Spoons, and Bash Money to that, I mean, ain't no messing with that. I mean, like, that's better than Pray for Paris, actually.
That see, I hate that, man. I hate the fact that every time there's a double disc,
How about
it's
that?
always
Better than
that
Pray for
conversation and it's
the best
always
song.
that
The best songs
reality.
on this album would be better than Pray for Paris put together. Imagine that.
I mean, it's crazy. And you know, and with that being said, I think that double disc are not a good idea in hip hop. I mean, you would say that Life After Death is the greatest double disc in hip hop, right? I want to
That's
get
correct.
I want to get people's opinion on this in the chat. Is it Life After Death or is it All Eyes on Me? What's the best double disc ever in hip hop?
Okay, so
Because
after
it
we do that, let's take those albums out the conversation because no matter how you feel, those are clearly like one and two, two and one.
right.
Like Mike,
I'm keeping
we
them in the
can one A one B.
conversation
It depends
because
on how you
there are
feel
some.
because like I said, Mike, I prefer like how about this? And here's how I feel about Life After Death and All Eyes on Me. For me, I think All Eyes on Me, Book One, is better than both sides of Life After Death, but both sides of Life After Death are better than Volume Two of All Eyes on Me. And so, like, it would be like one, four, and then two and three. So it's hard for me to decide.
So
So,
all right. So if Life After Death gets minimized to one disc, does that make it better or weaker? Because I think one of the biggest things with Life After Death is the fact that Biggie was able to show all types of versatility on that large album.
Okay,
Does one disc make that album stronger or weaker?
so that's gonna. I mean, but okay. So I felt the same way about All Eyes on Me. Like I felt like if you took the five best songs from book two of All Eyes on Me, and put them on and put them on volume one and like left volume one alone and left all that stuff there, that's the best rap album ever. Like in my opinion, like that's how strong the stuff is on there. That's how strong he is because although he's not the MC that Big is, that was the best Pac was ever as a lyricist. And as far as depth and content, like Pac had that. Pac just had that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
okay. I mean, even
So
with,
like,
I mean, whether we want to agree or disagree on that, we still agree on the fact that if we minimize those double disc into one disc, they're stronger, right?
correct.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, when you're playing the double disc game in hip hop, you end up losing. Nobody has successfully done a double disc in the sense where like how we talk about Illmatic or how we talk about the purple tape or Kumina, or you give yourself more room for error. And what Westside did with this one, on the second part of his double disc per se, he gave you 20 tracks, even more room for error. And there were errors, like you said. I mean, it's a dope album, but we're talking about over a span of 3 weeks. He had these records. If he could have actually taken the best 14 tracks from both of these efforts, he would have had album of the year easily.
Yeah. Yeah, there's album of the year material like on the first side. It's just only like 4 or 5 records like that. And on this side, it's like double that. And so it's like if you were to put that together. And so my question to you is like always for me, it's been always clear that these were the 3 best double albums ever. And like however you feel about it, Life After Death, All Eyes on Me, Wu-Tang Forever.
You don't think about Speaker Box Love Below, or does that not count?
I really don't count that like that.
Yeah.
I've always counted that kind of like a group album.
Love Below is not a rap album.
Well, that part too.
Yeah.
But so where would you put Hitler Wears Hermes 8? Because I mean, Mike, it's better than the Blueprint 2, and it's better than Street's Disciple.
I think the way it was packaged, it almost comes across as 2 different albums. It kind of reminds me of what The Game did in 2000. 6 was that 15? Yeah. What The Game did in 2015 when he dropped the documentary 2 and the documentary 2.5.
That's what I was about
that's
to
more
go
comparable.
To, because,
and I think, what? And I'm going to say something controversial. I think that The Game's documentary 2 and 2.5 is better than this.
That's exactly what I was about to ask you, Mike.
It is. That shit was phenomenal.
I had penciled in at number 4 as far as best double albums ever, the documentary 2 and 2.5. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is the first album that's been made since then that has been at least a conversation between the two. So that's how you feel about that conversation.
I think it would be right after that, to be perfectly honest.
Mike, you're justified to feel that way. Some of my favorite stuff from the game is on 2 and 2.5. Cocaine 80s, the joint with Gangbang Anyway.
Why We Bang Anyway? Yeah. I love the joint with Ab Soul. Started with $1 in a Dream.
No, that's my favorite record, Mike.
That project is dope, record, man.
The documentary too, the Primo record. He smashed the Primo record, Mike.
The joint with the Whitney Houston sample. The song with Wayne on the hook.
The joint, Mike,
the song with Drake, 100, crazy.
The joint with Wayne is my second favorite joint.
Yeah.
After $1 Green. The joint with Nas in the Ghetto.
Yeah, and he's snapping too. What, he had Scarface on there too? Nah, that project was crazy. And Game doesn't get enough props for that.
Yeah, Quick's Groove, even Quick's Groove. Remember Quick's Groove? That shit was funky. Like
that shit was funky. Honestly, it flows a little bit better than a Wu-Tang Forever would. But again, that's enough. It's hard.
Right now?
It flows a little better at some points than a Wu-Tang Forever would. But see, the thing about Wu-Tang Forever,
the high moments aren't as high.
No, it's not, because I've said this probably on this show before or just in private. I think that Wu Tang Forever might be the most lyrical hip hop album ever. It's lyrically dense. You got records on there that you don't really listen to like that, and then you're hearing a verse, you're like, wow, this verse is incredible. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot
It's
of
just
hip
so many
hop.
lyricists on there.
It's like RZA was saying, like at the end of Bells of Wars, or one of them records, he was like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even got to go to school this summer. Just cop the Wu Tang CD, gives you all the education. It was heavy. It was heavy. The
Yeah,
stuff
I
that
mean
they were
when you got verses like his on Impossible, with Ghost's verse on Impossible, and then you got Triumph being what it is, you got the MGM being what it is, you got songs like what's my
leaders.
Heaters. That's it. How you knew exactly where I was going. Yeah, you got songs like Heaters, you got songs like Elder
Mike,
Gods.
that's probably True Master's second best beat after Brooklyn Zoo.
Heaters is ridiculous, man. That's one of my favorite
Heaters
songs on Wu Tang Forever.
Bells Before, Duck Season, Hell's Wind Staff.
I'm gonna ask you this, and
Mm.
then we'll get back on this other album. Who do you think was the MVP of Wu Tang Forever?
Ooh, that's hard to say. I think you want to know what? I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Ghost just because that I think is the moment when people really started looking at Ghost like a top level MC because it's like you
Yeah,
say, even on Iron Man, and even though Iron Man is a classic, Ray still sounds like and is a better MC than Ghost even on Iron Man. And so hearing Ghost on Wu Tang Forever, you're talking about a guy that went from like fifth or sixth place in the group to like first place.
yeah.
You know what I
That
mean?
was the album where Ghost caught Meth, and it's funny you say that. He actually kind of caught Ray on that album too.
So
Um,
if I were placing it in order, I would probably go Ghost, and then I would go Meth and Deck at a tie, and then I would go Ray.
I was gonna say Ray's up there too, but yeah, Deck really showed out on Wu Tang Forever
He
at every
did
moment.
like his verse on "For Heaven's Sake" too. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So
obviously you got Triumph, but yeah, his verse on Heaven's Sake. I
yeah, that
liked him
goes
on
without
It's
saying.
Yours, but you don't like It's Yours like that.
No. Machine Gun Rap for all my
No, I was
right.
talking about Deck, where it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
only
yeah. I
natural.
mean,
Actual facts are thrown at you. The impact to throw blow
like,
trees back
like
and crack statues. Million
she was
dollar
something
rap
like that. Yeah,
exposed.
no. I mean, I
Yeah,
remember it. It's still
yeah,
Deck. You know, I mean, Deck.
he killed it.
You know, Deck got bars like that everywhere, though. You know, poisonous paragraph, smash the phonograph in half, and be the inspector Deck on a warpath. First class, leaving bodies in the
Woo!
cast, causing ruckus like the aftermath when guns blast. Run fast. Here come the verbal assault to rhymes running wild like a child in a walker. Yeah, he got
You
verses like
know,
that everywhere. That's
this
what I'm saying. And
this is what
so
I'll say about this project, and now that we're talking about this project as it relates to Game when he did the documentary 2 and 2.5, I think if you actually make this a double disc, it makes it weaker. It's stronger if we look at it as side A, side B as individual albums. I don't think that with the documentary 2 and 2.5, if we put those together, that makes that a stronger double disc. Does that make sense?
not totally, to be quite honest
All
with you.
right,
So you're
what
gonna
I'm
have to
saying
hold on.
is if you put side A and side B together in one package, let's just say we didn't hear this 3 weeks ago, right?
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
hear A and B in one package. We open up the package like we did back in the day when you go into the store, whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing way more holes when you're listening to both of these discs in one sitting. Whereas when the games,
Oh,
the documentary 2 and 2.5, if those two came together, you're like, yo, this shit is banging all the way through. You know what I'm saying?
no, I do get what you're saying.
This,
But but
if
this
you,
is the
if you,
first project that's been made that's been comparable to it. And so with that said, that might make it the fifth best double disc ever. And that's saying a lot.
that's saying a lot, but also no one. There's been very few people to actually knock the double disc out of the park. We don't have a doggy style Illmatic double disc out there.
I mean, but Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like All Eyes on Me, Volume One, like kind of is that. It's very like doggy style. Like think about it. Like you know the word to Ambitions as a Rider. It's all about you. Scandalous, got my mind made up. How do you want it? Two of America's Most Wanted. No More Pain. Hearts of Men. I ain't mad at you. Like you do know the words to most of those songs actually.
But then there's another disc, and then we didn't get the real California Love on the album.
That's the biggest problem with disc one. The biggest problem
Yeah.
with disc one is that you don't get the real California love. But
Hmm.
even with that, Mike, it's so breathtaking. Like it's like I'm gonna take it.
People keep mentioning Diplomatic Immunity. What did you think about Diplomatic Immunity as a double disc?
No, I mean I don't think it's really like. I think
It
it's
should have
more
been
in.
single too, in my opinion. I always
I mean,
thought that.
yeah, I mean it's not. It's not in this conversation. It's not at quite at this level of these albums that I'm talking about.
Somebody
But
also mentioned Eight Balls Lost. That was a triple disc, actually.
I remember Lost. Lost was a triple, and Lost had a lot of dope stuff on it. It was also a triple. I don't even know how to classify or qualify that at this point.
I just don't. Again, I'm gonna stick to what I've always said. I'm against double disc, and if we're counting this as a double disc, yeah, I guess you know what I'm saying we rank that as such. But I feel like it really fucks with the cohesiveness of this, and it really makes even more of a case that you're talking about. We're keeping what 14 records out of fucking 34 or something. Like what? How many? You know what I mean? Like that's
I mean, okay, so let's. I mean, okay. I think if we were to put your list and my list together, we have a lot of the same stuff. So on my side, if I were to take my side B, I would take 11 records and I would take four from side A. So that would
okay.
give me 15. But I believe you have the same records that I do. So what records would you add to the 15 that I had? Because I think you had like stuff in like Richie's and Big Al,
Yeah, I
right?
had. Let me go through my list again. I had Hell on Earth. I had Free Cutter. I had Richie's. I had Julia Lang. I had Celine Dion. I had Forest Lawn. I had Why I Do 'Em Like That. I think you didn't have that one. I had Eddie Kingston. I had Oster Tag. I had Munch. I had 99 Aperex. I had the Fly Who Couldn't Fly Straight, and I
I
had
do.
Big Al.
Right. So if we were to put like our list together, it would be more like 2021 out of 34 if we were to put ours together.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Better.
And if we're talking
My
about side
my
A, what are we
I
keeping on
about
side A?
I mean for me, and this is what I'm about to say. How do you feel about side A? Because on side A, and there's dope stuff on side A. Like
It
I'm
is.
kind of 50-50 on even putting Mariota on here. It's just like when I listen to Mariota now, it's like, man, where do I put Mariota? It's like it ain't gonna stand up against like Hell on Earth, Survivor Series '95, Celine
Right.
Dion. Right. So it's like I have Bold Cover, Westheimer, Spoons, and Bash Money.
That's what I got. That's exactly what I got. And so it's like it kind of reminds me of like you said, All Eyes on Me.
That song on those
On
projects.
the second disc of All Eyes on Me, if we're putting those two albums together, how many of those songs are you keeping?
I'm definitely taking Picture Me Rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder Why They Call You Bitch. I'm gonna have to go and check. I remember I did a list once, Mike. I think I actually sent it to you once, where I took like the four or five best songs like on book two,
Well,
and
book
I
two looks like this. It looks like, you can't see me. Shorty wanna be a thug. Holla at me.
Wanna Be
Wonder
a
why
Thug.
huh?
Shorty Wanna Be a Thug is going on.
Okay. Wonder why they
Yep,
call you a bitch. When we
yep.
ride. Thug Passion. Picture me rolling. Great record.
Definitely.
Check out time. Rather be a nigga. All
Yep,
eyes on me.
yep, yep.
Run the
Those
streets.
two.
Ain't hard to find. Heaven ain't hard.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
So yeah, those five records. So Wonder Why They Call You Bitch, Picture Me Rolling, Rather Be a Nigga, Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. What was the other one, Mike? Go back.
Um, you talking about All Eyes on Me? The actual song?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
would be the five.
yeah.
Slide those over. Slide those over.
But see, that's the thing, though. You know what I mean? And this album kind of looks a lot like that when you want to put it in a double disc category because it's kind of uneven, right? In that sense, and I
Right.
feel like if we really looked at Life After Death, it would be a little bit more balanced, right? Like we look at disc one and disc two of Life After Death and the stuff that you're keeping and the stuff that you're taking away. It's probably going to be a little bit more balanced. I would imagine on Life After Death, you take away Player Hater, you would take away Nasty Boy.
Right. So here's the thing with Life After Death, and why I do have it again ahead of All Eyes on Me, is that the great stuff is actually is on both sides evenly.
Yeah, that's
Most of
rare
the
though,
great
and I
stuff,
think that's why Life After
most
Death appears to be the best double disc because it did that the best.
right, because All Eyes on Me, most of the great stuff is on book one.
I know
It
you don't
is.
like the happy shit like that. Like I never asked you, what do you think about More Money, More Problems?
No, it's still a great record. I mean, his verse, Mike, I love it just because of his verse, man. Because he's flexing on there. He sounds great. Like he's at mastery of his craft on Life After Death, and that's just a classes in session in verse. Like I can do anything. BIG, PO, PPA, no info for the DEA,
Yeah.
federal agents, man. He just can. He's like I can do anything. I can do anything. It's just it's an awesome rap display on an album full of awesome rap displays by him. But here's what I mean. He's got dope stuff everywhere on both sides.
He does. I'm sitting here looking at. That's why I'm looking off right now. I'm looking at Life After Death, the track list. Obviously, you got the intro. Then you got Somebody's Gotta Die. That stays.
Yeah.
Hypnotized. Kick
I'm
in the
writing the list
door.
down while you're saying that. That's crazy.
Yeah, Kick in the door. Fucking you tonight. Last day. I love the dough. What's beef? You got the interlude. More money, more problems. Niggas bleed. I got a story to tell. I mean, disc one is damn near perfect. Then you
I was
got
about to say, so is there anything that you would take off of disc one?
the only thing that I would take off of that is Last Day, and it's a good song. And you know me, I
mean,
don't really like Hypnotized like that, but I can't take that off.
okay, so
All
there
right.
really isn't any problem with disc one, in my opinion.
No, it's not. All right, so disc two, you got Notorious Thugs, you got Miss You, another, Going Back to Cali, 10 Crack Commandments, Player
So
Hater,
stop. So
Nasty
let's stop
Boy.
right there. So stop right there. Stop right there. Those 2, 3, 4. How do you feel about those records? 2, 3, 4.
This is what I would say. Notorious Thug stays. Miss You can go. Another can go. Going Back to
Right.
Cali can go.
Okay, so I'm 50-50. I really enjoy Going Back to Cali, but it's definitely not as strong as any of the songs that you really just list. How about this? Last Day isn't Last Days better than Going Back to Cali?
Yeah, it is.
Right. So
Yeah, that's the
10 Crack
standard. And
Commandments.
10 Cat Commandments clearly stays. You got Player Hater can go. Nasty Boy can go. Sky's the
Yep.
Limit stays for me.
I'm with Sky's the Limit. Yeah.
That for me, I feel like Sky's the Limit is that song that if you want to talk about the growth
it's
of the
not-
Notorious
it's not-
B.I.G., if you listen to
it's
Ready
not-
to Die and you listen to that song, that is where you hear the growth. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear Sky's the Limit, you're like, yo, this guy is growing lyrically, mentally,
it's
all
juicy
that.
with, you know what Sky's the Limit is juicy with money. It's like, oh, he got money now.
But
I
he
like-
seems so much more controlled. You know what I'm saying? Like even outside of just the maturity of the style of record, just how he approached it.
I get what you're trying to say. I get what you're saying. Yeah, we can keep Sky's the Limit. So
Sky's the Limit stays. The World is Filled is a good song.
Mike, first of all, I'm gonna tell you right now, we're keeping the rest of these records. we're keeping The World is Filled. We're keeping My Downfall. We're keeping The Long Kiss Goodnight. We're keeping Your Nobody Till Somebody.
So even with that, right? Because we took out
hold on, Mike. You like The World is Filled, don't you? When
I like The World is Filled.
That's what I'm saying. It's epic rap performances by Big on there. Like some of that stuff you can't leave off, you know.
But you know what? I think that it can. The album can be without it. Yeah, I like the song, but I'm just saying this is high level right here. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a high level song, Mike. You know what I mean? You know.
I just like to hear him, man. You know what I mean? Like I think that features on this album, were cool, but not necessary per se. Because he was able to just do so much by himself. So the ones that we were cutting, right? We're keeping the world as filled. Nasty Boy gets cut. Player Hater gets cut. Going Back to Cali gets cut. Another gets cut. Miss You gets cut. And Last Day gets cut. That's 6 songs out of 24 tracks. We still got 18 tracks. That's what makes Life After Death the best double disc in hip hop.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even in retrospect,
we're
we're sitting here, and the 6 songs that we cut aren't bad either.